wait till the night before Christmas to be good.
3, 2, 1. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 1 of the 11th annual 12th podcast of Christmas, the only program where you can see bodkins, bartering, blood, and bullshit. I'm one of your hosts, Francois de Nation.
I'm Andrew Sorsdahl.
I'm David Lee Roth.
I was fucking fast, and I'm proud. 11 years later, we got it figured out.
And I thought of it just as you cracked that beer.
We're second decade of the podcast. First one done. On to the second one.
So, I think last year we also did, first episode, we did like a wrap-up, year in review, life in review, reviewing episode, and we thought that would be a nice way to start episode 1 as well. So we're going to go back into the year of 2024, maybe a little bit into 2023, or is this all 2024 stuff? And look at some of the projects we've done, some of the shit we've worked on.
And we met Kenny Tots.
And we'll talk about when we met Kenny Hotz, but not Spencer Rice.
And Spencer Rice.
One is worth talking about, the other's kind of like...
Lame.
The other's insane.
Yeah.
You like that too. You're a simp for Pinky in the Brain.
A simp? I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that, no.
Yes, absolutely. So today on the wacky and interesting wild world of the 12 Podcast Christmas, we are joined by our newest team member, producer Steve. We had to let him go.
Yeah. And
now we have producer Andy behind the camera. Hello, Andy.
Hello, Bradford.
So now we have a little bit, instead of having we kind of had the Stig as our producer before.
Yeah. Mysterious, man of mystery.
Who was an ever-changing person who was never
Yeah.
the same person.
Yeah.
I think there was a Kevin and Steve.
Yeah, there
Mostly
was a Kevin.
It was mostly Kevin.
Oh,
as
okay.
the pseudonym,
Well,
I
Kevin
think.
was gone for a while, and then Steve came, and then...
Yeah.
Anyway, so Andy is a full-time... she's full-time producing this episode now. So, with that being said, with the magical world of switching the TV, let's bring up our first video, Andy, so we can review something we did in this past year.
Pause the fire first,
Because you can still hear
because I
it.
can hear it.
It's okay. We're going to work the kinks out.
We have a strike system.
Yeah. Okay, and what is this first one?
7 Mile Sun, I believe.
Straight to Boy and the Queen.
Okay, so this is interesting because...
We're working backwards from most recent to ish.
kind of.
This got wrapped up yesterday, literally.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it is premiering
Today.
tonight.
The day of this filming.
The day of the filming of this podcast. We actually don't film these the day you see them.
Fact.
Except for some of the live
Except
ones.
for some of the live ones,
Except for
which
except
tune
for
into
this
the
year.
live one.
We
On,
are going to be doing a couple of live ones. And there's going to be tweeting, I think. Oh, no, there's no...
See, the thing is, if I said it,
I like
if I said
I
it during
like
one of
that
those
Twitter...
episodes, they could live tweet.
No, but they
theoretically.
can't. They can live X. We actually couldn't get live quick enough for Twitter to still exist between that joke and well, not joke. That very serious. I created a joke.
We're gonna clip that.
I created a joke out of a very serious sentiment.
Vindication.
No, you are not.
Yep.
Also, there is no
Thanks.
fucking
Hit the table.
eggnog. There's no fucking eggnog.
Yes, fucking son of a bitch.
Okay, so
Should have given you the stand.
why don't we talk a little bit about this production?
Okay. Let's go back to the beginning, I suppose. 7 Mile Sun, good friends of ours. We met them a couple years ago. We did I think the first shoot we did with them was in that studio. Was that in Saskatoon? It was that one shot, right?
It was just outside. It was near Harris. Where
Yes.
they are.
Oh, I forgot we even did that.
Yeah,
had a
that was like
friend. They did like the acoustic version or like the stripped down version.
Yeah.
Of their,
As with most of the people we know,
Songs.
thank you to Aspen Beverage for the introduction.
It was a very cold open, and they are cool looking people, and they're cool people just in general. Kevin is jacked, and he's a cool looking dude. So we showed up, a couple of not very cool looking dudes, and then the project was like not uncomplicated because it was they wanted it to be a one, or did they want it to be a one shot, or did we suggest a one shot?
No, I think they wanted a
specifically said they wanted it to be a one take of whatever.
one.
Yeah, and it was
there were two songs.
Yeah, and it was a very small room.
It was a beautiful room.
It was a beautiful room. Couldn't really jam the lights very many places. Greatest room in the whole fucking world. fucking room. And yeah, so we shot that. That went well. They enjoyed our company, I guess, enough to then ask us to do a music video with them. We did a music video for their song
Love Sales.
Love Sales, which I'd like to go. It's one of those music videos that I'd love to like remaster because there's stuff that I'd like to tweak still to this day. But it was a really cool music video conceptually.
And we actually created one of our greatest creations, Brad's greatest creation, I should say, our fully custom 360 rig
Of death.
that I don't even know if someone else, there's another company that has something like that. Definitely not in Western Canada.
No, because they have things like insurance and liability and
Yeah, they have,
We have insurance.
Yeah, we do. We do.
that type of. I would love to
It
go.
could do enough
whoever
damage.
it's like. So we hit a guy and his head came clean off.
Yeah, and the safety. It's like any like real film that safety person like this is the most fucked thing that I've ever seen. Like
It's-
when Alec Baldwin was shot, that guy was way safer.
Oh,
than
way
what's in it.
safer. Oh yeah.
Did the guy die?
This machine, the person that Alec Baldwin shot. Oh yeah, it's
Yeah,
a woman. A
big time.
stunt woman died.
Oh Lord.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, so we ended up reusing this rig later in one of the videos we'll show you in a bit.
Yeah. So, but to describe the rig, imagine a big ass metal frame, like probably like a person and a half high.
about 8 feet high.
Yeah, 8 feet high, and then quite like
22 feet long.
Yeah, very long, but wrought. I don't know if iron is the metal, but wrought metal, black, very
steel.
thick, heavy steel.
Yeah.
And anyways, right in the middle of this big frame, so that's a big frame, and then right in the middle of it is a big arm that is controlled by, or used to be controlled, probably still controlled by, like a gutted drill that's hooked up via wires and kachok. And anyway, so that's how you control it. And anyway, so this big arm that the camera sits on swings around.
And it's counterbalanced.
And it's counterbalanced by huge sandbags. And anyways,
And
it
a
spins
wrench
around
welded
and
to a
around
piece
and
of iron.
around. And yeah, when you see it from a distance, you're like, oh yeah, that's kind of, it's like, it looks like it's going pretty fast. When you're in the middle of that thing, holy
Or near
fuck.
it, like-
or you're trying to catch it or something, it's like,
It flies.
If you forgot about it, you could get in so much.
And it's so
Yeah.
crazy because your perception of its movement is so much less than what the camera's seeing. It has to be moving that fast to get the effect.
Yeah, I remember that was like the big thing when
I
we
was
shot
like, this is going way too fast. Isn't
Love
it, Fran?
Sales.
And
I'm
he's
like, no, you
it
need
goes
to
way
slam
faster.
it, way faster. Like, it needs to go max speed here. And then we had such trouble. And I think that might still, or did you figure out the problem? The big problem we had on Love Sales was to do the effect we wanted to do, because the idea behind the effect was we wanted each of the artists, so there's 3 people in the band, and we wanted them playing like dead center, and then we wanted the camera spinning
Perfect
around them
360.
in a perfect 360, which sounds conceptually simple, super difficult to pull off. Like you think like grab it, well, you don't have a gimbal, but whatever. If you had a steady cam, you'd think like, oh, why can't you just run around them with a steady cam? If it's not a perfect 360, you can tell, and it's
not
the
perfect
velocity.
pace, too.
Yeah, the velocity is off. It just doesn't achieve the same effect. But speaking of velocity, that was like the big problem we had on Love Sales, was because the idea behind the shoot was like we would be able to basically seamlessly cut from one of the performers to another performer, but the camera would in 3-dimensional space would be in the exact same spot. So if it was at a 45 on Brad, I could then cut to Andrew, and it would be exactly at a 45 on Andrew. Unluckily, because I think it was the battery of the drill, it would drain, and with the battery draining, the speed of the spinning would change. And anyways, it ended up working out. It was fine. We compensated in different ways, like clever cutting and that kind of a thing. But I think that was more figured out
Yeah, I got that figured out for the second shoot.
And I guess before we talk about the second shoot, are we gonna play some of Boy and the Queen, or what's our?
Yeah, so we need to talk a little bit about this particular video.
Should we have let's turn the volume off, actually, Andy. Let's just have the visuals. Yeah.
So,
Thank you so much.
This is the second video for 7 Mile Sun, Boy and the Queen. This is Kim, the drummer.
Yes.
She wrote the
She
song.
wrote the song, and she's the key performer, doing a Don Henley impression here as the drummer and singer. She actually got to go on stage with Nickelback. She won a contest through Rock 102.
Very cool.
And she got to do a drum solo and sing with Nickelback. But this video has actually not been, at this time of filming, not released to the public yet. Fran, tell us a little bit about your inspiration for the color palettes and why you chose your pinks and your blues. And
Well, the color palette, that's not on me. Artificial intelligence. It's something. We got to deal with it. It lives. It exists in our lives. But Kimberly, so what she had done is she had done some promotional artwork, and I'm not sure what she used, Photoshop or just some AI generative image thing. And she had generated this image that was a frame with pink and blue smoke, and that was like the image she used as the teaser image. And so when we before we were shooting, I was like, well, if that's the image that she feels speaks to her in terms of the song, it's like, well, maybe we should like keep thematically keep in line with that when we're shooting and make sure we have that same color palette. So I just called her up one day and I'm like, obviously that image spoke to you in some way. So do you want to keep in with that theme? Should we do the pink blue thing? Let's go all out pink blue. Because like my instincts are not pink blue. I'm gonna go black and red, and like that's like, because the song is about a breakup and it's about anger and it's very aggressive and it's a mad song. And so my like fire was the instinct that was the initial instinct. It's like nature, that kind of a thing. But yeah, my instinct would not have gone to pink. Would not have been to go pink and blue. It would have been more red, blacks, like trying to convey anger in that way. But I above all else, when we do a project, I love originality, and I love when we do something we haven't done before. So when I did see that teaser image, I'm like, oh, this could be a cool opportunity to use a color palette that it doesn't exist in any of our other videos. And so that, yeah, I think that's kind of.
And I really like how the coloring is mimicked between the performance and the narrative.
Yeah, we were very careful to make sure that if you notice in the narrative scenes as well as the performance, that the males are on the same side, females are on the other side. So we have Joanne on the one side with pink, and then we have Kevin and Jason. We have Jason on the right side of the frame. And
okay. Actually, Andy, can you just scrub that back just a little bit? I just want to show. Fran put in an effect here when this table flies, and this looks to me like practical. It blends so well with the scene.
Yeah,
I loved it.
Yeah, that part of the video was interesting because like with most music videos, I'll start by if I'm editing the music video, I'll start by editing the performance bit, and then inevitably there's always this moment when it's like, oh God, the performance stuff looks so good. Now I'm scared of introducing the narrative stuff because like, is it going to take away from how good the performance stuff looks? And so I did the same thing with this video. And then for a long time, I was scratching my head as to how the narrative stuff was going to be incorporated. And in my head, it was going to be a lot quicker, I guess would be the best way to put it. There's going to be the cutting between the narrative stuff was going to be a lot quicker paced. And anyway, so tried a couple different things. I didn't like them, and I was not feeling great about it. And then I went back, and I just cut all of the narrative stuff totally separately, just so I could get a feel for it by itself. And then I'm like, oh, these shots need to linger. Like, they can't. I'm trying to cut this quick, and it's not. That's what the problem is. So then I did that, and I incorporated the two. Then we got to the point where I had the balance right between the narrative and the performance, but then it was like this video was lacking impact to me, and there are certain moments that just are very impactful, and certain moments like I figured out, like I knew that for some of the cuts I wanted like fire erupting by Kim and that kind of thing, and I'd figured that out. But then with the narrative stuff, with that table flip for instance, it's such a cool shot, and we shot in slow-mo and whatever, but it just didn't. I was like, it's not hitting the right way. It needs way more. So then it's like then I went in, played around with adding camera shake, and found I have some stock like dust plume effects. Found one that where the dust was coming from the right area. I think I just had to flip it around to the opposite degree, but like dust is coming from the right area. The velocity was correct and whatever. So and then I think we were kind of playing around. I was showing you. I'm like, should we go? It was just slow-mo before, but then I'm like, let's go from either slow-mo to regular speed or regular speed to slow-mo, and then we played around with that for a bit, and we settled on whatever one, and then threw the dust in there and composited that, made it look right. And then I agree. I think it just added, like I said, it's an impactful song, impactful video, and it needed impactful visuals. And I think we got there. I think it's good. I'm really proud of it. I like where it's at. I'm excited for people to see it in a crowd tonight at Buds on Broadway.
Shout out to Buds. So yeah, that was kind of a nice music video to basically end the year on for music videos.
Big one.
It was a big one, and it's been very nice to work with them again. 7 Mile Sun's not your traditional touring band, so they're not a group that's they're staying local, but they're getting out there and they're playing some cool shows, and they've got other things going on, but they've got a really great sound. They've got a really great working relationship with Aspen. They're a style of music that I really enjoy. They've got good vocals, good energy. It's just like, yeah, it's music that's not hard to listen to.
Yeah.
I think they're my favorite musical act that we work with currently. In terms of just like my musical tastes, I should say. Not, they're terrible human beings. Oh, fuck, are they awful people.
But
Just
especially that Joanne.
terrible.
She's tough.
Joanne is very difficult to deal with. So not people, terrible, awful.
Bad.
Wouldn't want to see him again if I
Sound
could.
good.
But the music, love the music. Fucking fantastic.
Like Yoko Ono. Okay, let's jump to clip 2 and see what we have lined up. Oh, this is so Pioneer Co-op. Shout out to Dallas Kirkpatrick, longtime viewer, for setting us up with this project. So the
Transformers.
The Swift Current Broncos reached out, or the Pioneer Co-op was collaborating with the Swift Current Broncos in order to shoot a video to reveal a jersey partnership that they had. Actually, Andy, could you restart this and just turn the volume back onto this? Because this is like my favorite part of the whole video. Not my favorite part of the whole video, but
I just paused there, Andy,
Pause there.
already. And yeah, can you talk about
anyway,
that
yeah.
process?
So we went in, some extenuating circumstances. The shoot was challenging, but we got through it pretty well. We got to, as you'll see later, we got to reuse the 360 rig.
Yep.
I love how the video turned out. It was a father and son duo that we got to work together. They both played. One played for the Broncos. He's the one on the TV right now. This is his footage from his WHL career playing with the Broncos. His
Early
son,
millennium or 90s?
yeah, like 99, 01,
Yeah,
01.
like early millennium, yeah.
And his son just got drafted by the Broncos right before we had made this video.
Yeah.
So the jersey itself is a throwback to the era when his dad played.
Yeah.
So we got his dad in his original jersey skating on the ice, and then you'll see later we do the transition to the son.
Yeah.
But the video, we kind of got it wrapped, and then I just get this idea in my head. I'm like, fuck, we're doing the nostalgia thing. I'd like another nostalgic element. I want the old co-op jingle. So if you grew up particularly in southwestern Saskatchewan, during that era, there was always co-op ads. Our commitment to quality shows, become a member of your community builder co-op. Unfortunately, we couldn't find the full jingle, but I think this works just as well, and we couldn't have probably fit the whole thing in anyway.
Oh, no, this is what you need, because it's just enough to...
Remind you, but speed it along.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I reached out to Dallas. I said, is there any way we can get that jingle? I'm like, it's got to exist somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
The issue was, and this is where that information bridge gap is really interesting for me, that jingle ended before the digital era, so it was exclusively analog. And they had rebranded and done all this stuff, so this jingle was long gone.
Mm-hmm.
And Dallas, to his credit, reached out to their old advertising partners, radio DJs, like, does anybody have this, somehow have a digital copy of this? Because there would have been no reason to change this from analog to digital, except for archiving purposes, because they were not currently using it. So, like, it was either on a tape somewhere, which was basically unusable. And we've done a little bit of, like we talked about last year with...
if you're from this area, like, you know how ubiquitous it is. Like, everybody knows this fucking jingle. But I guess if you're not from this area, it's like the coffee. What's the Maxwell's Coffee song? Is that who does the You're Our House?
Yeah.
Who does Our House? Is that Maxwell?
Maxwell, yeah.
Yeah. It's like that. It's like that. Everybody knows this fucking song.
Anyway, so he did finally contact an old advertiser who wasn't even with the company anymore, and he dug through his old files, and he had a digital version of this co-op jingle. And we had actually shot a shopping spree video for the co-op a previous few months beforehand.
Yeah, and
so
that
we
was
had
pretty good.
So we had footage of the inside of the shopping mall, so that we made it look like an old commercial. And then did the transition, which I really think that caps off this whole like setting the air. And then Francois found this awesome stock
that was really
stock
nice.
video.
It's like obviously I do wish, I always hope that we can film things practically, but I mean sometimes it's just not reasonable in terms of like our turnaround times.
Yeah, it was too fast.
And but yeah, this was great. It was just, we used ArtGrid for our stock footage, and it was a really nice piece of stock footage.
So Annie, you can go ahead and play it. You can keep the audio off. But Dallas reached out to TSN. This is the very first TSN broadcast of a WHL game ever. So
I didn't think I knew that.
So we had an actual TSN tape, which Dallas digitized for us. And then, so this is Jeremy Rondo, the dad, getting ready in his old locker room. And he thankfully still had his old jersey. And you know, I think it was really cool for him. I was told after that when he saw the video played at the Broncos game,
Yeah.
when the jerseys were revealed on the Jumbotron, and I was told he was brought to tears. And I told Dallas, I don't think a Pioneer Co-op advertisement has ever brought anybody to tears, so you should be pretty proud of that.
Well, they said they played it that, or at least that's what I heard, was that they played it 3 times that night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can see that this is where we use the 360 rig, obviously. And then you can see the transition. Now, there were some limitations here that we didn't think about. I built the rig for people to be standing or sitting, and these guys are on skates, and they're tall guys.
Yeah.
So
If they would have been any taller,
I think his dad's in shoes. No, his dad isn't on skates. I don't.
or
think.
something. Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, or in sock feet on the ice. I can't remember.
Had they been taller, you wouldn't have been able to do it.
No.
Yeah. You'd have had them on their knees.
And you found this stock music so quick, and it fits so fucking perfect.
Yeah, this was great to edit. It was a super fucking quick, like, it's one of those ones where it's like it all just comes together by itself. Like
The story.
Once I figured the velocity of the 360 and how that was gonna work, and got that colored and whatever, and it's one of those. It's like now it feels like a cheat code, but it's like because we had to like separate when we were shooting because
they didn't give us enough time.
there was some problems with the amount of time we were supposed to have when we were shooting, so we had to separate and divide and conquer. And anyway, so I went into the dressing room and shot that intro stuff, and all I did was like, what's the most cinematic way I can shoot this, but I only have half an hour or whatever. So it's like, well, I'm gonna stick a light here, use a flare, very very moody, whatever, and I'll stick another one here. I'll have harsh lighting. And anyways, I'm glad I went in that direction, because I think, like, after the fact that it fit, because I think it was the right decision. I'm super proud of that.
And the one thing I will say, that the shortfall with the 360 rig is that it has legs, and the legs interfere with the shot because you can see them.
Yeah.
If the rig was in a studio,
You basically need, like, the only way to shoot with the rig effectively is you need a pitch black room, because the frame itself is black. So if you have a pitch black room and you're lighting the center, you can then expose so that it's like, you can and with this, because it's spinning so fast, that helps to obfuscate the legs a little bit. But yeah, if you were like, oh, I want to shoot this on a bright day with a 360 rig, you couldn't do it.
No,
you would just see the rig.
the only way that it could be done is if you were in studio and you could hang it from the roof.
Yes.
If you could flip the legs up and mount them to the roof, then you would have a perfect,
360,
Yeah.
and you wouldn't be able to see that.
flawless 360 rig, and you wouldn't be able to see
You
anything.
probably have some other problems then with, like, the arm.
It
bending,
shouldn't,
maybe,
really.
Or like, yeah, it'd be interesting to see.
I mean, it would actually probably be better, because if you had it hard secured to the roof, it wouldn't want to rock like it does a bit.
Yeah, because I mean, I guess at the end of the day, then that strength is still constant.
So no, I think that I was really proud of that project. We had a very tight shoot time, tight turnaround time, but it came together beautifully. And like I said, I think the expectation was more of like a cell phone video. And when they got this, they're like, we're not going to play this once. This thing's fucking amazing. So we're just going to keep playing it over and over and over again.
If it seems like it's because well, it's another project that we'll talk about in a little bit that we did, but it's like we shot Paranormal Prairies, and to a degree, it feels like when we're an unknown quantity, which we are to a lot of people who haven't worked with us, their expectation, it's just like the product we deliver now, I think, is at a like we can do pretty exceptionally when we're given the avenue to do so. But a lot of people are like, fucking filming, guys. Like, great, super good. But then people will see the products that we deliver, and it's like, oh no, filming guys, like filming
This is
guys,
real
like they're
serious.
actually filming guys. And yeah, that Broncos one for sure was like that. It kind of felt like it was thought at the back of somebody's head, and nobody was really taking it all that seriously except for us three and Dallas.
They're like, we'll play it at the show or at the game, I guess. Like,
Yeah, but then when they saw it, it was like, oh fuck, it's like a thing, and it's like
we'll play it like multiple times.
Yeah, it's like great.
Like they played it open and they played it at the fucking intermissions.
Yeah,
and-
totally. Should we just move on to the next thing?
Yeah, we might as well. Next up, I believe we have. I don't know. Oh, this is Paranormal Prairie.
Fuck yeah.
Andrew, you were part of the Progenesis.
I like it.
Progenesis.
It sounds like a word,
Progenesis?
even if it's not a word.
Tell us a little bit about how this came to fruition.
Yeah. Joel came, friend of the podcast, Joel came to us and said he wanted to shoot a movie about this phenomenon in a town that he grew up in and he's been going and seeing for forever. And Fran and I were like, how about we scale that back by a lot to something that's a little bit more
movie.
Let's do it more, something more doable that we can actually plan and go and shoot and do in a day. And initially, I think the idea was something even much more small scale than what ended up coming on screen. It was like a little, I think the initial plan was like 5-minute little micro doc about the ghost light. And then we ended up getting access to this really cool location for our interviews. And right away, we're like, oh, we could actually like make this look really good. And then the interviewees were like giving really good interviews and giving us lots to work with. So we're like, oh man, we could actually take this and scale it up a little bit. And so we kind of took this original idea of the feature film, scaled that way down. And then as things started to fall into place and fit together better, we were like, oh, we can actually do a thing with this. And I think now our hope, our plan is to kind of parlay the success that we've had with this so far into hopefully getting funding for a whole season of similar kind of episodes, similar stories,
Episodic almost.
yeah,
If you want to use that word.
in the vein of like Unsolved Mysteries, I guess. So it was super fun. I'm really glad we added in that extra day of production to go wait in the fucking cold and try to find the ghost light. I think that kind of just tied everything together, and it felt incomplete without that. So adding that was good.
I love this location. I wasn't there for day one of shooting, which I actually enjoy because this has a ton of mystique to me because I wasn't behind the scenes on it, so I can really enjoy it as a viewer.
Yeah, we didn't even go back to the college when you did come.
No,
out to shoot.
it's like
you really have
for
no
me,
idea,
it's like
yeah.
a totally different produced thing.
Yeah.
and it
And they were so receptive to it. It's like such an awesome location.
it is so cool, and I'm so glad
the
I don't know
pizzeria
behind the
called
scenes.
Oh geez, I don't know. I know it's not
River Road.
River Road. That's it. Yeah,
Okay.
River Road Pizzeria. Yeah.
Pizza place.
I hope that next year we have a little short film that we shot in that location because it would be the prime space for like a little 5-minute horror.
Yeah. It's a huge building.
Huge,
That's
yeah.
one.
Because it was a college.
Yeah.
Yeah. So downstairs they have like there's a pizzeria and
And bodies.
there's a couple of other yeah, of course. There's a couple of other businesses that have little classrooms that they use as their space. I think a bunch of storage for other businesses in classrooms as well. And the upstairs was again bigger like lecture hall type rooms I think originally, and bathrooms. And the owner
Like this looks like
yeah.
the room is wild to me.
Oh, it's
brilliant.
huge.
Like it's like Harry Potter and Mission Impossible. That bathroom they beat that Chinese guy up in Mission Impossible.
Like the
Yeah.
arm,
Yeah.
the arm floating. Yeah, no, it was unreal. I was not expecting it at all, and yeah, I think Andrew hit it on the head. It's like I don't know if the room had not looked like that. I don't know if the energy would have necessarily been there to, because the stories were fantastic. They would have been fantastic regardless, but I think like the first thing we did was like we cut a little super cut of just like what is it, like 6 minutes of the interviews just to show, just so people could see something, and just that it seemed galvanized people, and where they were like, oh, this is really intriguing and really fascinating. To like, we didn't show it to that many people, like a handful of people, but everybody who saw it was just like, this is great, and it was like, man, this isn't even like a quarter of the stuff.
Yeah, and it's like, how can we level that up? It's like, okay, we can get some reenactment footage and throw that in there to spice up the interviews. We can do a really solid intro, outro, and kind of like a middle piece. We can go into more detail about kind of like efforts to debunk the phenomenon and like really do a full picture on what's happening here, rather than just here's a couple stories about the light, which is kind of the original thing was like, here's a couple of stories about the light. And then
Yeah, it was cool. It very much felt like this project from beginning till end. Obviously, we want to do more episodes, but like for this first episode was like such a awesome like discovery experience. Like editing it and being like, well, what does this need? What's it lacking? Show it to somebody who's a third party and be like, well, what do you feel? Are you satisfied? Are you not satisfied? And it was like I
Wait, is that the ghost light?
that it could be. That's a 650, but in your imagination, certainly. But it recently, I think it's spring. I shot a little, just like some nature shots and cut a little thing together. But it was just something that a project like this that we have like full creative control over is just it's different from doing the promotional videos and the music videos and stuff where it's like collaboration is super fun, but when we have final say over every aspect of the video, there is something intangible to that just feels creatively very satisfying that even the most creative music video doesn't necessarily scratch. And I do love that shit, and I don't know, it feels like the projects that we do have this full like 100% creative control of are sometimes far and few in between, and sometimes I'll forget how needed they are. And yeah, this was one was just like, I'm so proud of how it turned out. I'm so proud
it looks so amazing
of the response. I'm so proud of like everything about it was just, I'm just like, yeah, this is what we are capable of, just us as an independent organization, not whatever.
I don't know if we have a clip of it, but not that we're necessarily done with this, but that's one of the things I'm super proud of and that we've really focused in on this year and is going to be releasing here on this channel over the next while is the horror review show that you and I do, Infernal Archive. And just what we've done there in the short little time that we've been doing it, and the response we're already getting, and now having Andy on board to help us really with getting things edited, getting them put out in a timely manner.
Yeah, like a regular
a regular schedule. It's exciting to be able to, you know what, we have a little bit of downtime. Let's do something for ourselves. Let's produce something we want to produce.
Totally.
It all looks so good. I think the production quality speaks for itself.
I think it's one comment we got. I can't remember what review it was on, but I think it was definitely one of the Infernal Archives, and somebody we didn't know, like third party, whatever, random person was like, the production quality, this is way too high for this many subscribers or whatever. And it was just like, listen, buddy, and that's another thing that's worth mentioning is like that type of comment can fully like create, like it can be so instrumental to the genesis of a thing. So I try to do that. Like it's something I'm very aware of. If I see cognizant of, if I see a project that I genuinely enjoy, and it's like if I see a tattoo that I think is awesome, if I see a photograph or whatever from anybody I know or whatever, and I'm like, no, that one does speak to me just that 5% extra than just the regular thing, I'll go in and be like, no, that one is particularly awesome.
Comment,
I fucking
subscribe,
like that thing.
whatever.
Yeah, and it's just like I think and that's the thing. Don't be disingenuous. Like don't fucking go and talk up things that you don't speak to you. But if something speaks to you, like go and talk about it. Like people really appreciate it.
And especially when it's someone you know, it's like it means so much that like
I almost prefer strangers.
Both are good.
Prefer strangers
because then it feels so genuine.
What is in Road to El Dorado? Both is good.
Both is good.
Both is good.
Yeah, I think it's harder to win over non-strangers though.
Yeah, there is something to the of somebody being fully a third party. That it's kind of weird. It's kind of like a double-edged sword because criticism from a third party feels to me feels less important, or like no, I shouldn't say that. Apathy from a third party. You don't care about if somebody you don't know didn't see or like didn't care. But when somebody you know doesn't care, that you can feel that one. And then, but on the reverse, it's like when you get praise from somebody you don't know, that does feel almost a little bit more legitimizing than from somebody you do know, because you feel like maybe they're babying you to a degree. But no, like I said, both is good. Like they, if you got a friend who does good stuff and you like their stuff, go tell them they do good stuff and you like their stuff.
Or tell them they do bad stuff.
Or if you don't like it, tell them you don't.
Tell them it is not good.
Maybe that one you can sit on.
Tell them it is not good.
Yeah, Paranormal Prairie's awesome.
Go watch it.
It's very cold.
Like, subscribe.
It's very cold at the shoot.
We were driven away, maybe by supernatural forces. We don't know. That's the thing. We don't know what the cause of the cold was.
One thing we can say is it was really cold.
It was potentially environmental.
It was,
and it was
likely.
It had it was eerily quiet.
It was
genuinely. It was.
That's true.
Weirdly quiet.
That's true.
It was. I will say, I'll go on record and say, I felt like stepping away from the camp, like our little area, to go and take a piss or whatever. It felt weird.
You weren't
it was
using bathrooms?
weird.
It was dead quiet. It was like you could.
It was unsettling a little bit.
I remember there was a dog, must have been barking in a farmyard, and you could hear the dog, and it was clearly like 5 kilometers away. Like it was like.
Yeah.
I was never scared for a minute, and I will fight to the death.
To prove
I was waiting
scared?
for the light to come so I could punch the light.
Yeah.
Like it's like, oh, when the light dips and stuff, I'm like, I'm also dipping a bit. And like all these people are like, I saw the light and we ran. No, run towards the light. Run at Attila the Hun.
Uppercut.
Where do you punch it? Dead
Right.
center of mass?
Right dead center. Right in the photons.
Right in the-
Hit her in the photons and let her have it.
Because it's like, I don't know. I won't even speak to how supernatural phenomena potentially function in the physical world.
I'll tell you how they get hit. With old Jack Johnson right here is when they get
Ring on.
when they get whapped.
It just has.
It's like
it has a red mark in it. It's like, ow!
It's like there was a ghost light of St. Louis, and then I fucking whapped
Beat
him
the hell
one
out of him.
good, and it stopped being. Let's move
That
on
was
to the
in
next.
Bellevue.
Yeah,
fucking
it
ran.
ran to Bell Saint-Hilaire de Bellevue. And then we'll jump to our final clip, but not final discussion
Oh, yikes. No, thank you.
Again, I wasn't at the shoot.
At all?
No, I
No,
wasn't
this
at
was-
Sunday's Best.
You and me.
I had a call.
Andy was.
Why do you leave
Andy
us
was
out to
potentially-
dry on like the most difficult fucking shoots?
No, no. This I had a Pioneer Co-op board meeting booked way before, but this is the only
No, but
day
I'm
they
just
could
saying,
get together.
Like, I'm
I
not
know.
saying out to dry.
Oh.
Like, can you imagine if you could come to a shoot and you were like, no, I decided I don't
Yeah,
want to
no,
today? I don't mean that in a literal sense. I'm just saying in a figurative sense, like two of the worst shoots we've been on.
And before Andy had been like hired on full time, had been contracting her here and there to help out. And this is one where like, oh, it'd be great to have an extra set of hands. And then Andy and our actual intern at the time, Ethan,
Yep.
they were both sick. They couldn't come.
Strike system.
Wah,
In my
wah.
defense, I had the flu.
You did know. It,
So
honestly, it
I
was
had the flu.
it was so much better that you
Show me a
weren't.
fucking doctor's note.
It was such a chaotic day. It would have been.
Yeah,
It
no,
was-
no. That's the type of
We
shoot
had to
where
just run
The
out.
old
You
liquor, the old liquor flew
You
at that
you-
quite a few times.
You needed maximum expediency and efficiency. Like,
Yeah.
that's like
Stripped down crew was the only way that was going to happen.
This one's beautiful. I'm sad mostly because I didn't get to return to one of our earliest places of filming.
Heather was
Heather's
upset.
pretty choked. Yeah.
Well, I couldn't fucking be there.
Yeah, then that doesn't mean that she doesn't get to be upset.
Sure it does.
But it is cool that it's like full circle. Like we came back here after so many years. Like
She was,
it had been
and she was so
years.
excited, so
Oh.
hospitable, and like
Absolutely.
wasn't even asked, and like took care of all the food for everyone,
Yep.
and specifically baked buns for Fran, and like a whole thing of buns
Yep.
for us to take
all
home.
the
Just-
extras, or at least most of the extras figured out. Like
Bottles of red wine,
Heather-
bottles of vinegar.
I don't know what that's
Vinegar.
I don't know what that's in relation to.
But no, it was awesome. Again, I think more than anything, because they're a 7 fucking person band, it just adds so much chaos regardless of any other factors.
There was a lot of
and-
pre-production talking back and forth, being like,
Yeah.
"Listen, this needs to be pared way
Yeah.
down because it will be like what you're describing to us is a 5-day shoot, and we have 1 day, so no, we can't."
Yeah.
do
Well,
this.
was this the one we were discussing on the way back from Regina?
with the full evil band and the full good band and the?
But was that because
Kingsman
I remember
fight
specifically
sequence and-
we were driving back from Regina and they
Yes,
sent us a treatment.
yes. No, that was the other one.
That was
That was Not Leaving.
oh yeah.
I love both. Like
I
the
love them
music.
both,
They're
yeah.
both great songs, and I think both videos ended up turning out pretty great.
Mm-hmm.
This is again a cooks in the kitchen thing, and to be fair, like they're just all really passionate people.
Oh, yeah,
and I
totally.
love to give a fuck.
Yep.
But you just got to elect, like, we need
Yeah.
to have free and fair elections
It's just it's just
and make
kinda
the
one of
band make the band great again.
well, at the end of the day, on a shoot like this, like if you need to compensate somewhere because there's got to be give somewhere. Like it's not going to be 7 directors on set, and you know what I mean. Like somewhere there's got to be give.
And
if-
when
if
financial
whatever
is
you want.
always a bit of a give.
yeah, that's the thing. Is like so really with this type of production, you have this many people who want a voice. Everything needs to be hammered out in pre-production.
Yeah.
It can't be on the day when we shoot. On the day you shoot, it's like
This is the
no,
plan.
no,
We're
now
already
now
here.
we got to go because it's like we don't. There's 7 of you. We don't have time to now whatever do something. And not that I'm not against discovery. I'm not against ideas. I'm not against suggestions. But when there's 7 people that you got to get coverage for, and there's
In a day.
30 extras, and and 1 day. That's the other thing. 1 day shoot.
Even
It's
if we
just-
had, even
it's
if we,
not
even if we
practical.
had 2 days budgeted, it would have been a slightly different story.
Yeah, totally. It would have been at least a little bit. But it's like it is one of those videos though that I'm like, I don't think increasing the amount of time makes the video better necessarily.
No,
'Cause
I-
it's like
yeah.
then it's like maybe you're getting you're thinking about certain scenes too much. You're getting too caught in the weeds or whatever.
I think
The
it would've-
Prehistoric Productions patented one-day music video, which shouldn't be doable.
No,
at least
We
not
have
the
shot more
quality.
music videos in one day than we have multiple days. Absolutely.
I'll say I think if I had to list exhausting shoots, that was top 2 for me. I was done for 3 days. I was done.
We got back. I remember driving back from Brock, just outside of Rosetown. We got back, unloaded equipment. You took the cameras to offload, and then it was just like, okay, I'll talk to you in a week.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, my voice was fully gone for 3 days.
when's the next shoot? Oh, okay, a week from now.
Oh,
See ya.
this is cute. Pause this here, Andy. Sorry. So that's the logo of the.
I still have my shirt.
Yeah, well, yeah. So Heather, the person that helped us, this is where we shot, was the church, and so it's not it's a church, but it's not a religious church. It's like a music venue, basically, or like an event space.
a church that they've turned into that. Repurposed.
Into that, yeah. But they still call it the church or whatever. And there wasn't a logo that existed that was high resolution. We just didn't have one. And I reached out to Heather, but she didn't get back to me in time. And it's like, I needed a logo. So I took my T-shirt and I flattened it out. And I took a picture and I went to Photoshop and tried to straight. So anyways, that is a picture of my T-shirt that I used and then tried to clean up as much as I could to use a logo at the end. So anyways, yeah.
It's gorgeous.
One of those funny production things.
So no, that was a full circle one. Really cool. The guys that they have great music. Velvet Threads has awesome tunes.
One of our best buddies, Leah Hansen's in the band. That's how that was our into the
Production
band.
with them.
I'm assuming largely. Yeah.
The best part about working with Leah is that he genuinely has really cool fucking ideas for videos, and lets us. The fact that he comes to us to do them is awesome, because I love everything we did for Sound of Hand. Was that in the last? That was last year, so not this year.
Yeah,
but
the last 2 years.
yeah. Everything we did for that project, I'm super proud of how that turned out.
That was also our first SMA nomination.
Yeah. No, second.
What was our first?
Oh, Wasteland.
Oh, Wasteland. Yeah, totally. Yeah, no.
Always
Leah's
the
awesome,
bridesmaid, never the bride.
He,
Prehistoric Productions.
Yeah. Well, maybe this year with the 7 Mile Sun banger.
I don't
Boy, the
know if
Queen.
it's applicable
No, I whatever.
Why is it not?
I have fully.
because I think the nominations are out now, and it has to be. It's always like the end of the year before.
Okay, well for the
After
next,
after the thing what happened last year, I'm kind of just
Was the tie
I'm
year?
just ignoring. Yeah, we couldn't even get seats at the show.
Oh yeah. They
It
don't run
was-
it great.
no.
I mean, I want SMA. It's my Everest right now. I need it. I want it. Give it to me.
I wanted it last year, and now I'm very ambivalent.
don't want
It means nothing to me now.
It doesn't. It's not the prestige. It's just a check mark on my list that I need to check.
I predict that we will get a breakout West,
At some point.
we'll do that before we get an SMA.
Oh, interesting.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're very hard to find.
Where are you finding?
I'm just trying to find out when the
The nominations are open now.
no,
Yeah,
but
I did
when
see
the
some stuff
window
on
is.
Facebook. So wait, what are we eligible for then?
Not a lot.
Did
Velvet
we
Thread
go a
stuff.
full year without shooting a video or releasing a video?
No, we must have done.
We've done
Like this is out, like that, like Sunday's Best would be eligible.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yep.
We could submit Sunday's Best.
Prehistoric.
Adam Johnson video would be eligible.
Yeah, Adam
Yeah.
Johnson. We did this year.
That would be
For
good
the
for
record.
SCMA too. So
Yeah,
we can do
it will
that.
probably get a nom for SCMA. I would think.
Yeah, we won our
We'll
third.
probably
We won
win.
our third SCMA.
We'll probably
this
win
year.
12 SMAs on that one.
Oh, that's another. Big
Oh,
one.
Josh Stumpf came out this year, I think.
Yep.
Which one was that? Oh, like just the.
Yep.
Drink
like
Me a
the-
Lullaby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We won our third SCMA with longtime
LaBrache.
friend and client Justin LaBrache. Finally.
Yeah.
Oh, Bad Bitch Got a Gun came out this year.
Just bitch got a gun.
Or Bitch Got a Gun.
Yeah. I kept calling him Bad Bitch Got a Gun. Yeah.
Well, change the fucking name.
Well, we're gonna have
Doesn't
them on
make
the
any
podcast.
goddamn sense.
You can confront them on the podcast.
Confront them in the fucking street with brass knuckles.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, disconnect the jawbone. Can't say the name anymore. It doesn't really matter how it's pronounced, does
They're
it?
young guys. They don't got the gumption to fight. I don't.
No, young people today can't.
Not
I'm down in the dirt.
those three.
Fucking Vietnam, bitch. Like,
You could maybe take all three of them on at once.
Yes,
Pretty easy. Yeah.
absolutely.
That's what we're gonna do on the pod. It's just gonna be a little. This little area is gonna be just a little ring, a little mud pit,
No,
Jello pit.
No, blood pit.
Blood.
Well, eventually, maybe. We'll see who's
I'll-
buying.
I'll donate blood
I'll
for the
stick
initial.
them and drain them.
For the initial.
You hear that, Brothers G? You're gonna get lit up
Yep.
live.
That's not a live one, but
We're gonna
we
do.
could do it.
We're gonna do a separate angle with just one angle with a phone, live here,
fuck it, we'll do it live.
and we're calling it the Blood Pit, the 2024 Blood
You're
Pit.
gonna get your shit rocked.
And you're gonna get your shit rocked.
I guess like wrapping up here a little bit. What do we want to talk about? Like, I think the future. What are we hopeful for 2025? For
I'm
Toy Story?
hopeful for Mom and Dad, and I hope that. Who do I want to work with again? I'd really want to do another Hour Hand video.
Yep,
Yeah,
that'd be sick.
they're top of my list too. Our Hand would be huge.
Like wolves doing new music.
Yeah,
they
League
did
of
make
Wolves
new-
would be pretty sweet.
That would be a very full circle, like.
I do. I love those guys.
Yeah.
I want them to do stuff every year and do stuff all the time.
I've said it before.
Like we could really crush a League of
Oh
Wolves.
Yeah,
my
we
god,
could
that's the
really-
thing. We need to do a modern one, like
yeah.
with the same creative spirit, energy, and the friendship and everything.
And like just ingesting green paint.
yeah, yeah.
I would love to work with a metal band because we haven't. That's the one genre
Yeah.
we just haven't had the opportunity to work in. And I'd love to do something like
Because we could do the fuck out of a metal video.
dark and creepy and like do something awesome that way. That would be super cool. And I would like to do work in hip hop again. Some hip hop artist. I know our rancher's son is getting back making music.
I'd love to fucking work with Alex again.
I think that's gonna happen. in
I
the near
think
future.
I forgot to say I should have looped the Josh Stump video into this. I really love that Josh Stump video.
It looks very good.
It's so simple.
Drink Me a
It's-
Lullaby.
yeah.
It's just like well executed, and the lighting is gorgeous, and the
Yeah.
kid's got a hell of a voice.
I wish we would
It
have.
should also be nominated for SMA or SCMA.
I wish we would have had a little bit more time for him to nail the performance side of things, because I feel like if we could have got a little bit more out of him, just visually, like soulful singing, I think it would have just. taken
I
it
don't think
over
we
the
could have
edge.
done it, and he just needs more under his belt.
I don't disagree, but I feel like if we had a little more time, we could have, because he was good. Like the performance was fine by the end.
But I think you get that from like doing a little touring and being on the road and,
Yeah, I don't disagree. I
and
just
getting more comfortable with it. You're always going to be a little stilted when you're young. I think our early podcast, episode 1, I remember being very stilted. Is it 100 episodes ago?
and that's totally different.
100.
No,
We peaked.
You think I'm stilted now? You think I talk stilted? Episode 2, Bloodbath. Andrew and I, head to head, live.
We're scrapping all the other.
we've been
They're gonna fight for the next 11 episodes.
It's going to be
we've talked
11
about that for
episodes.
a while, and
And it has
Bloodbath.
to be a 20-minute fight every time, beginning to end.
And a 1 day break in between
know
fights.
what?
And then
I-
right
One day
back.
break for-
I bet you that fight would be infinitely more interesting than Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson.
Yes, how could it not be?
The thing is,
Neither of us are trained fighters, really.
I'm also gonna give
No.
you an 8-foot circle, and you can't leave the circle.
Episode 2, The Bloodbath. Brothers G, you're canceled. I'm not even worried about that. Andrew and I are going head to head.
Now I'm worried.
So bands we want to work with.
Bands, brands, and events.
I'd love to do another. Paranormal Prairies obviously is a thing that we'd like to do in earnest
Continue
next
on,
year. Infernal Archive, I'm loving that. I want to continue. We're no plans to stop with that. I'd like to really put some effort into like a short film next year. I think that's like top of my list.
Yeah, it's something we haven't really.
Yeah, we've talked about.
we
feature
should
films as
probably
well,
do
but-
another Tears of a Bacon.
Tears of Bacon will come back.
Yeah, we already have.
It's like at the end
we,
of a Marvel credit scene,
yeah.
it's like Tears of Bacon will return.
Tears of Bacon will return.
we actually even already know what the next idea is. Like we just have to do it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, now it's like it's the season.
yeah,
Today would have been a good day for it.
a little
Ironically,
cold.
A little cold, but that's you can't really. That's
It's going to be a
that's
little
like a
cold.
beggars to choosers thing. You either got to just do
Yeah.
it or don't do it.
After I shot that fucking thing in Andrew's garage,
Oh my god,
That was cold.
we were all.
that was fucking cold, and I had to be chained up with real metal
both had
chains.
to
We
be,
both
yeah.
we were both in
and it was
our
minus
underwear.
30.
underwear and robes. I was in a robe. You were just in underwear and a shirt.
Yeah,
That was fucked.
yeah.
And we were there for so long.
Hours.
That was a long short.
I broke free of my bonds.
We really should reshoot that not in the freezing cold and like. It's a great idea.
Get it down to 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Get it down to 2 minutes.
Well, I'm not even gonna get down to 2 minutes. Like I think it was mostly good as it was. We just need.
I would also do. I could shoot it much better now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's
Like,
pretty utilitarian when we shot it that time. Yeah.
Hopefully in 2025, like moving into our studio space of some kind.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be
That's a thing that is not out of the realm of possibility.
nice. Love to work with Michaela and the Radiant again.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
that's
yes.
one of my it's a brilliant music video.
In any capacity, they're like probably my favorite people to collaborate with right now, just
They're
because
great. Yeah.
we're just on the same page. It seems like across the board, and in general, just have very similar sentiments and tastes.
Another one I'd really like to do is like a Burke Will Blackbird
That'd be
combo
cool, yeah.
I
video.
want to shoot that video. I want to do it for ourselves. If they would let us have creative control, that one idea that we had with like the fucking horse and carriage and like Burke digging the grave.
Yeah,
I want to
that
just do
was-
it. I feel like that video could be like a fucking work of art.
Yeah, we had some strong visuals thought up for that.
I don't even
video.
care. Like it's an old song, whatever. It's still not got
Well, the
hundreds of
thing is,
thousands
like,
of views or spins.
Yeah, it's like I know, like something I wanted in my life, just a personal goal of mine, is to do the river video that I wanted to do, like the animated one with the
Oh,
rabbits. And I'm gonna do that. That will happen in my life if I don't get hit by a bus or something. But like, I think about that, like those songs that spoke to us, but didn't necessarily, like the artists didn't want to push, or like we didn't get the chance, but just like, I don't know, at some point our careers just being like, hey, that song that you released 15 years ago that you didn't give a fuck about that I really liked, it's like, I want to do a video for it now.
Here,
Shut up.
actually, on that note, we had the opportunity, a potential to shoot a music video for
Hot Child
in the City. And unfortunately, that didn't work out. But I would love to do a music video for a very famous Canadian song that never had a music video. I mean, like obviously, like a Joni Mitchell's way out of the question, but like
Northern Pikes or like,
Northern Pikes isn't quite enough. But like, I think it'd be easier to do a one-hit wonder. Because they're not like, there's no protection over brand and stuff like that. Like even like Trooper, I think is probably.
Yeah, it's the type of thing that even if you couldn't monetize it,
Yeah, I don't want to.
You would just get so much natural viewing, and then it would
Make
it would just be such
worthwhile.
good, like a good, great marketing
And then
piece for
anybody who
yourself.
says,
Yeah.
"Oh, have I ever seen anything you've made?" Yes, you
I
have.
have. I did the music video for
The,
that.
the Hot Child in the City video would have been fucking awesome.
That would have been cool.
We had a great idea. It was nice and simple within budget, all that stuff. It's we'll get it.
Because I think
We'll get it next time.
I got re-inspired because the girl who sang "Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree" 80 years ago just shot the music video for it. Now,
Well, I just saw that. I
She
think,
was like 14 when that originally came out, or something like crazy. Like,
yeah.
I think it's 1985. Like Bowling for Soup just released a music video for 1985. I think it's 1985. But one of their big songs, they just released.
I think
in,
that's
like, last
totally a
year.
thing that, and I think it's a better way to get views.
Oh, it's great. That's the thing is like so many of these artists existed in a time
Yeah.
when music videos were for MTV. They were kind of like the marketing tool, but it's not like today. It wasn't like today. We live in the world of viral internet stuff, so it's like
And just
why
one-off
the fuck
content.
If you
wouldn't
could get
try
enough
to get a
traction,
viral
if you
video
could get
today?
enough traction on a Hot Child in the City music video, he would make enough money, or she would make enough. They would make enough money.
He.
I know. I don't know who's all like who,
Involved in it,
in the
yeah.
writing and all
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, all right.
They
yeah.
would make enough money to justify the production cost easily. I think.
Oh, you could like what's that person that? Oh, sorry, that you mentioned it. The one that released the music video. What was it? Sorry.
Rocking Around the Christmas Tree.
Yeah. I think I saw a figure about how much revenue they've made on that, and it's a lot.
Well,
Like,
look at even not a music video, but Stevie Nicks and fucking Fleetwood Mac when that guy was drinking that fucking ocean spray cranberry juice and skateboarding, like that video made them piles of money.
Mm-hmm.
It brought that song right back to number one.
No, if Taylor Swift wanted to make even more money than she does, because why would you? Because you just there's so much money
too
coming in.
much,
What are you
yeah.
doing with the money? But it's like imagine that Taylor Swift today is like, I'm gonna do another video for our song, but Taylor's version of our song, and I'm doing another. It's like people would watch that, billions of views. It's like you could reshoot the first video. Just now she's a little older, billions of views. Like
Like just change it thematically a little
Yeah,
bit
a
and
little
like And then it just like, but right now it's like Pablo Escobar couldn't cut enough holes in the walls to hide the cash that's coming in.
That's the thing. Her problem is she needs
Like
to
she
figure
gets
out how
onto
to
a
get
bus
less.
and it's just like $100 bills are
Yeah,
blasting
she
at her.
needs, how do you do less money? How do you make less money?
Yeah, she's Googling it every day.
We should do a new video for one of our favorite songs, "Summertime" by Mungo Jerry.
Well, a couple of years ago, we spoke briefly. We're like, we should do a series where we recreate
repos
some of these music videos or whatever, like visually. And that Mungo Jerry one would be
That one's real easy to recreate.
yeah. But
it's all stationary angles.
But that's what. But that's
the charm of that one is it's shot in like Central Park. That's
And
why it's like crazy.
One thing I find frustrating though with recreation sometimes is if you have easy visuals, it better be fucking dead on. Like the clothes better be the same. Like all of that stuff, the framing, everything. Like I hate it when somebody I was just watching fucking Doctor Sleep, which is a sequel to The Shining. And they recreate, obviously, there's a lot of sequences they recreate from The Shining, like try to do it precisely. But there's something so simple to me and to me, it's very iconic from The Shining, which is when Danny is riding around his tricycle, and the sound when he's coming off the carpet onto the wood, onto the carpet, is just like, I'll never forget. It's very distinct sound effect. And they don't use the same sound effect in fucking Doctor Sleep, and they do another, and I'm like, why? Why are you trying to you're trying to match the visuals so precisely?
I know, but
stuff
Kubrick
like
was never
effect,
much of a filmmaker.
no, it wasn't. But it was just, I don't know, stuff like that.
Like,
I'm just
why would you copy fucking garbage?
People aren't
Why would you
people aren't
copy
going to be talking about him in 5 years.
Oh, they won't.
They're already not talking about it.
No.
Yeah.
Artificial intelligence was a flop, and it was. It was.
Stay tuned. Fight night.
Yeah.
Pay-per-view.
11 episodes in a row. 20. We're doing 11 fights. 20 minutes a fight. That's the first fight. 40 minutes, day 2. We're doing 20 minutes additional every day. I can't do the math off the top of my head, but it's going to be a hell of a ride. They'll be less intact at the end, I would imagine. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll catch you on the next
episode
episode
2 coming at
of
you.
the 12 Podcasts of Christmas. Thank you so much for tuning in.